Welcome to the Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box. Welcome to the Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast brought to you by the Hot Take Hot Box. My name is Matt McSweeney. I am joined by the Ty Capone here to talk about UFC 298. Alexander Volkanovski puts his featherweight title on the line against the Matador, Ilia Topuria. This is an awesome night of fights. Rarely do we say that when we do one of these podcasts. We talk about them all week in and week out. Last week, the week before, not that great. Even the pay-per-view wasn't that great, but a couple weeks before that. This is a great card, and we are excited to talk about it. Like I said, my name is Matt McSweeney. This is the Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast. I'm joined by Ty Capone. Ty, how are you feeling? Are you excited? I know you are. You are a big supporter of the Matador.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm looking good. Not looking good. I'm not looking good, but it's looking good outside. We got some good weather. 73 and sunny. I know you're doing well up there.
Yeah, it's not that here.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm really excited for this card, top to bottom. I think it's solid. I think it's really solid. I mean, maybe some of the prelims aren't that great, but I think there's some action. There's some action fights. You know, I think some of these lower fights on the lower fights on the card have at least have the capability of being a quick finish or a war or something. You know what I mean? With some prospects, some guys who might have a future. But the main card, man, is nasty. From top to bottom. It might not be the best co-main. It might not be the best feature bout. But, honestly, look at 4 and 5. Cejudo, Merab, and Fluffy and Kopylov. Those are awesome to start the main card and kind of lead in to that main event. It's a nice gradual build into the main event, which I think is going to be one of the best featherweight title fights, maybe of all time. Honestly,
I am so excited. We got Val Woodburn getting in there, lacing them up.
Left-handed God is on this card. I mean, what a nickname! There's a card. This card's full of pretty good nicknames. That might be the best.
And then Marcos Ruggiero, don't call me Mr. Clean de Lima, is getting in there as well. So we have a lot to talk about. But like always, we must start at the top. UFC 298, the featherweight title, ladies and gentlemen. Alexander the Great Volkanovski putting it up on the line against Ilia Topuria. He is 26-3. Ilia Topuria is 14-0, undefeated. I am so excited about this.
15-0 per his bio.
Yes, he's already announced that he has won this fight. So that is, if you're a gambler and you trust him that he's got the inside info, then you might as well go in and fire your life savings responsibly on Alexander Topuria. That's what his name is on the betting website. So I don't know.
Alexander, his brother?
Yeah. That's
they just signed, by the way.
That's what they literally have his name on as Alexander Topuria. So I really hope it's not him and Ilya's the one fighting. But
yeah. Alexander's good, but he's not that good.
Topuria is a slight dog in this fight. The odds have gone all over the place. Pretty sure Volk opened up at, a minus 175, 160 favorite. And now it's down to minus 120, 130. Topuria is a plus 105, 110. Ty, I must let you lead. This is your guy. You've been tailing this man for a while now, probably. At least since the beginning of this podcast and since he made his UFC debut. I gotta give you the floor and tell us why you think it is Topuria's time.
Yeah, I've been on him for a minute, man. I think I remember watching his fight or seeing the tweet, a highlight of him knocking out that guy right before he got to the UFC at Steven Goncalves. He got dropped bad in that fight by a head kick, and he was able to survive. It's kind of interesting. Both these guys have been dropped by head kicks multiple times. The difference is Volkanovski's been knocked out twice by them. The one time was a long time ago. I think he was at 170. When he fought that fellow. It was his first career fight, his fourth pro fight against Corey Nelson. And then when he fought Islam, who is obviously one of the best, in the business right now. So don't want to compare those to Steven Goncalves and Jai Herbert, but Topuria was able to recover from both of those. I think he. My only real question is if the moment's too big, if it's too early. I mean, I think he's ready. I think his game has honestly just improved so much. I mean, you got to take a look. I don't want to give you the backstory of his whole life, but he was born in Germany and moved back to Georgia after I think it was the Civil War, the Georgian Civil War. I could be wrong on that. My history is a little sketchy. And then he started doing wrestling, Greco-Roman wrestling, and then moved to Spain at 15. That's probably why he claims Spain, or claims it so heavily. He's not Spanish at all, but moved to Spain at 15 where he started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and then just started fighting. And, early in his career, he was just pretty much a submission guy. Like, he was taking these guys down and just submitting everybody. And then I'm not really sure what happened. I think pretty much when he got when he just, I think, settled in, it seemed like, because his first 4 fights were against, absolute bottom of the barrel guys. And then he started fighting some better competition. And then he started realizing his power and started boxing more. I think he was actually, I think he looked up to Canelo, watched a lot of Canelo. And it kind of makes sense when you see how far along his boxing's come in his career. I mean, the Yusuf Zalal fight was his debut, and it was on short notice, but it wasn't the greatest. Damon Jackson fight was kind of a little slow until he put him out. But, dude, he just makes improvements every single fight. He's so well-rounded. He's ready. He's composed. I mean, the Josh Emmett fight showed he can do this for 25 minutes. He can put a beating on people. His striking defense is probably what I'm most worried about here, but I think he takes a shot well. He's not scared to exchange. He can recover well anytime he gets rocked, anytime he gets hurt. Again, maybe he's too young. He's 27. I'm trying to think of anybody. I always talk about that 35-year-old club that Volkanovski's in. I think the only fighter to ever win that was 35 or older and beat somebody who was younger than 35 was Tyron Woodley when he beat Darren Till. The other ones, Tyron Woodley beat Daniel Maia and Nunes beat Aldana, who were both 35. So that's something to look for in this fight. Honestly, I don't even care really about any of that, to be honest. I do think this might be a quick turnaround for Volk. Has it been 4 months since he got head kicked, right? That's not too long, or that's not too short, but, he took that fight on 11 days' notice. It's just been a lot. We're seeing less Eugene Behrman now. I don't know if you've noticed that. More Joe Lopez, because Eugene Behrman did not like the fact that Volk took that fight so short. And he's also talking about taking a fight on 300 to save that card. Jumping ahead a little bit. I think both these guys are looking ahead too much. That kind of worries me a little bit. But I think they're both on fight night. They're going to be locked in. They're going to be dialed in. I just love what Topuria did in his last fight against Emmett. He gave out a 50-42 card in that fight. Do you know what other fight had a 50-42 scorecard in UFC history?
No.
Max Cater had one.
Okay.
Rich Franklin back in the day against was it David Loizo? Dave Maness, Gil Castillo. These were back in like the 90s, early 2000s, so not many. I think he would be the third youngest featherweight champion ever. Slightly ahead of Conor, who obviously beat Mendez for the interim belt, which he then unified with the biggest fluke ever.
Come on.
He'd be it's true.
Have some respect.
I think Max was 25 when he also won the interim belt because Anthony Pettis missed weight. And then Aldo, who won it at 23, that was in the WEC. So Topuria would be putting his name up there with some of the greats in the history books. And I just think he has Volk covered if it gets to the ground. I think he has the better hands. The one thing I will say, I feel like Topuria might stand too tall and too heavy on that front leg. Volkanovski loves throwing those leg kicks.
Yeah.
Just the feints, the output, the leg kicks for Volk. He's so tough, man. He just gives you different looks all the time. And obviously he's tough as nails, but I do kind of worry about his durability. He's getting older, and this is the first time in a long time he's fought somebody with a similar build to him. And he's been fighting all these tall, longer guys. The last time he fought one of those guys was Chad Mendez, who did drop him. I know it's been a while. It's been a long time since then, but I think that's something something to notice. If he doesn't get those if he can't chip away at Ilia Topuria right away and damage his front leg. And I think Ilia Topuria hasn't really been a big leg kick guy his whole career, honestly. Him and his opponents have kind of pretty much been even in that. He doesn't headhunt, but he goes to the body really well, sets it up. He'll finish to the body. He'll mix up to the body, to the head in the same combo. I just love his boxing. I love his speed, his counters, everything. And obviously he has that power. I'm going to go Ilia Topuria by knockout. I think he gets it done, wins the belt, and sends Volkanovski packing to 155.
You've taken that on the card.
Yes, I am.
Wow. How about that? Ilia
I think there's a chance he could sub him. I know Brian Ortega couldn't sub him, so maybe nobody can, but I think Topuria's a little different. He gets you on the ground, he'll elbows and whatnot. He'll make you feel uncomfortable. Then I could see a club and sub, but honestly, I think he's just going to get it done with it. I think he's going to hurt. He's going to make Volk feel his power, and then I just don't know if Volk can sustain. I don't know if he can stave off his power, honestly. I just think he's going to find him eventually. It might be early. It might be really early, honestly.
Topuria TKO plus 360 is on the board right now.
It was in the 440 range before, so I see some people are saying he can go 5 rounds, but can he beat Volkanovski? And can he win a decision over Volkanovski? Maybe. Honestly,
maybe. Anything can happen.
Right. We've seen it before. That how the fuck did our boy Almeida go 5 rounds with Derek Lewis? Different story here for sure. Maybe he can beat him in a decision. I think he could. I think he could outpoint him, but it would be very tough to do. As you get into the deep waters, how are you going to win rounds 3, 4, and 5 against Volk? It'll be tough, but I just think he's going to send him packing. I think this is his time. I think the stars are aligning. Volk coming off of that head kick knockout. I think Volk is can be hit, and I just think his hands, Topuria's, are much better here.
All right, so I agree with a lot of what you've said. I just worry, you made mention of, is that I think Topuria is underestimating Volkanovski, and I think that is a grave, grave mistake, if he truly is. If it's not just bravado and talk and, hyping the fight up pretty much. It seems like a lot. Honestly, though, from listening to the guy talk and following him through this last couple of years, it seems like this is just who this man is. He's ready. He believes in himself. He's confident. He does give off a little bit of a Conor-like aura.
Confidence, fucking He has the vibes all around. His coach said, "Hey, most people don't touch the belt before they win it. They think it's bad luck." And he said, "That's the difference between me and most people." Yeah, he's a sick individual, and you saw what he did to Bryce Mitchell, made him look like a bum. And, that is one of the things, though, Ty, that it really does worry me is Ilia Topuria's strength of schedule. Obviously compared to a guy like Volk, who's been the champion for a while, but yeah,
Josh
Emmett, definitely
Emmett,
something to consider.
Yeah, Bryce
Mitchell. That's a big step up, though. I thought Josh Emmett and Bryce. Look at who did Conor fight before he fought Chad Mendes? Dennis Seaver. Yeah, look at everybody. Everybody who was a champion was once a prospect. And before they were a prospect, they were a contender. And before they were a contender, they were a prospect. Before they were a prospect, they were a regional scene fighter. So I agree. 14-0. It's in the grand scheme of things, not that many fights, right? Doesn't have hasn't tasted defeat yet, but he's had some time. He's had some tough times to overcome for sure. I didn't think he was going to survive that first round against Jai Herbert. He was rocked most of that round, and that's a low level. If some would say if you can't look amazing against Jai Herbert, how are you going to beat Volkanovski just a couple years later? But I just think I'm going to let you continue though.
No. Yeah, I'm basically saying a lot of the same stuff. Like that is a worry, but ultimately it's not a thing that's going to make you swing one way or the other because it is not. I've always said this, and sometimes I don't like it, but it's the truth. It's not really your fault if you're not able to get lined up against this guy, that guy, or have this great level of competition leading up to your title fights. It's, everyone has different roads to get to where they're at. This guy's skill set is his skill set. He's dangerous with his hands. He's dangerous on the ground. He's somewhat durable, obviously, because he's received a shin to the side of his dome and has been able to bounce back and recover and get the guy who did that to him out of there. I'm just not as, I would say, confident as you are, obviously, in Mr. Topuria's ability to get Volkanovski out of there. The thing that I would normally be a lock to take Volkanovski in this spot because of the number and everything surrounding it. I just worry, though, that, and this is, we talked about it when this fight was announced, that it's only 4 months ago that man's head was punted into the bleachers. And I get it. It's 4 months is a good amount of time, but that's how long did he take off before he hopped right back in the gym and was training again? You know,
right. 3 fights in the last calendar year.
Yes,
it's a lot.
And
and 2 losses.
He talked about he wasn't taking care of himself before that second the Makachev fight. There's a lot of little things.
Depression,
right?
Wasn't he depressed?
Yes.
Or he said he was dealing with something. He was drinking a lot. That's got to be there still a little bit.
Partially, and that's one of the things that worries me because I think a lot of people are just counting on that it's Volkanovski the Great. He has been truly. We have discussed it on here a million times how great this man is. He really is. He has been a staple of the UFC and especially the staple of the featherweight division. He basically took it from Holloway and has been running with it ever since. And we haven't even really gotten any. He's had close situations, but overall, these fights haven't been all that close since he fought Holloway. He's taking care of Yair. He's taking care of Ortega. Other than a close submission here or there, but I can't get over the fact that this is still Alexander the Great, and this is still one of the best featherweights of all time, and I just don't know how he doesn't find a way to win this. Like you said, maybe he chews that leg up. I think he's going to be a little bit longer. I think those jabs are going to be there, but is the striking defense of Topuria going to be able to keep him at range and be able to get in without getting hit? I don't know. I'm going to take Volkanovski money line here, and I'm literally not that happy about it. And if this were a prelim fight, I would not take it because I don't really have a confident view on either side. But this is the main event. This is the featherweight title. I can't sit on the sidelines. Taking Volkanovski money line minus 120.
Wow. I thought you were going to follow me into war, at least with the money line pick. However, I can't be mad at you taking the all-time great. We've seen it happen many times. I just think, the biggest key for him will be those leg kicks. And the thing when you throw those leg kicks, you're open to be countered. Ilia Topuria has amazing counters, quick hands, a great piston of a jab, beautiful uppercut, beautiful straight right, and then he throws a nice, step back, pull right straight hook, kind of like Floyd used to do, like Canelo does. I think that's what he's gonna chip him up multiple times. He's gonna have him maybe not backing up completely against the cage, but he's gonna catch him, and then from there he's gonna take over. Relentless finisher. Let's go, baby.
The problem is they really don't have I usually can get a read, and I know the MMA math doesn't matter, but they really don't have a lot of common opponents or any. Do they even have any common opponents?
I don't think so.
That's the thing.
No.
We talk about that on here. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. The MMA math, it's not. But I like to see what either one looks like against the same guy and kind of try to figure out how they would match up against each other. And they have just fought completely different guys.
Because Volk won the belt in 2019 and Topuria made his debut in 2020. So,
yeah.
He's going to be fighting the Damon Jackson, Brian Hall, and Bryce Mitchell and Emmett's of the world. Emmett was the closest we can get. Honestly, Emmett for being your last fight before getting a title shot is not too bad. Who did Volk fight before he won the belt?
Aldo Mendez, Elkins, Jeremy Kennedy, Shane Young.
Yeah, some of those guys. Aldo Mendez definitely legit opponents, but still.
Even then, it was kind of they were fading off towards the wayside by that point. Beating Holloway 3 times you can never not hold that against him. But again, he's finished his last two of his last 3 opponents at featherweight. It's just I don't really feel good about this bet at all. I don't.
You shouldn't.
No, because this is a dangerous fight for Volkanovski, and I, I want to flip flop. Ty. Should I flip flop?
You should, yeah. Absolutely should.
Oh man, I don't know. No, I can't. But this is like the ultimate prove it fight for Volk. He has to. He can't go out because then he's done. If he loses this fight, he is toast. And
just go to middleweight or lightweight.
Yeah, but I mean, he just got his head kicked off by the champion there, and he's lost to the champion twice. So really, there's no path to the title unless Islam walks away. So this should feel like a do or die situation for him, and he might die. I don't know.
He will.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna stick with it. Volkanovski money line -120. Topuria plus 360 on the TKO. That is the Shoulder Strikes MMA picks. We keep it moving, ladies and gentlemen. We go to the co-main event. Robert Whittaker, the Reaper, getting in there against Paulo Borrachina Costa, the Eraser. He has like 7 different nicknames now, so I love it. Borrachina is the underdog here at plus 205, 200. You can get him as low as plus 195. I know that's not exactly what you would want to do. Whittaker is a minus 250 favorite here. Big time favorite, Ty. When I saw this, I was a little confused because, Whittaker is coming off of a, not really devastating, but really just eye-opening, shocking loss to Dricus du Plessis. And I get he's the champion, but I think you would agree in the way it happened. It was just like, wow. Like, he got power jabbed into oblivion, and he just wasn't taking punches well, and he didn't look like he was able to really manage the distance, and it just didn't look like the Robert Whittaker that we have known since, he has become a part of the main event scene. He just didn't look like that same guy, and I don't think it has anything to do with age or anything. I don't know, but Paulo Costa on the other side, a literal physical freak, a freak of nature, and just a large gentleman. Hasn't fought since he fought Luke Rockhold in 2022. So it's been over a year.
A year and a half?
Yeah, a year and a half pretty much since he's gotten in there. And that Luke Rockhold fight was a little closer than it probably should have been. He was lined up to... Remember when he was going to fight Chimaev last year? That would have been fucking awesome. He's supposed to fight Aliskerov. That being Costa. Awesome. Yeah, it always seems like they try to line him up to get killed, but him fighting Whittaker, it seems like the winner of this could definitely get a title shot, especially if it's Costa, because if Dricus is the champion, they would want somewhat of a new blood in there as opposed to running back a rematch where Dricus kind of handled Robert. Ty, I guess I'd like to leave it to you first to try to convince me why I shouldn't take Paulo Costa money line.
Well, I think that the layoff is definitely something to note. He seems like more of like a social media influencer nowadays. Like, he's just big on social media, not fighting, but I mean, watching him train, it definitely looks like, he's about it. He's legit. He's in good shape. And, I don't know, man, he's supposed to be like a KO artist, but when's the last time he got a KO? Was it 2018 against Uriah Hall, 2018, 2018 against Uriah Hall, who is a known quitter, and before that was Johnny Hendricks, who was, wasn't on the juice anymore. And Gareth McClellan, he made his debut against. Gareth McClellan, I believe, holds he also has the same birthday as I do, has a win over Dricus du Plessis. Fun fact. So, like, I'm just not convinced on his overall game. I think he's so much bigger and stronger, I think, than Whittaker, has fought at 170, doesn't have the long reach, is kind of smallish. He's more predicated on speed, but I think he's starting to slow down a little bit, so that kind of makes me worried about his overall game. And I kind of don't know what's going to go. I don't really have a bet. If I had to take something, it would probably be Whittaker by decision. I don't know if he says he's going to put Paulo Costa out, but when's the last time Robert Whittaker knocked somebody out? Jacare Souza in 2017. So they both have pretty good head kicks. That's something to know. They both have pretty good kicking game in general. Robert Whittaker has really good takedown defense. So does Paulo Costa. So, like, who goes for the takedowns first probably would be Paulo, I think. Even though Whittaker, remember, he had 4 against Izzy, 4 against Kelvin. So I'm not sure. I think I'm kind of unsure in general. I can see how Paulo wins just because I think Whittaker is kind of starting to, wind down in his career. I think he's probably at the tail end. He's lost two of his last 3.
It's only 33 though.
Right, and his losses recently have just been to Izzy and Dricus. Even back in the day when he lost to Wonder Boy and a split to Court McGee way back in the day. I can't even believe Whittaker was fighting in 2013 in the UFC. We were in high school, so man, yeah, I think Whittaker wins. That's my pick. I think he just uses the jab, uses his distance, his movement, his speed. I think he's going to be able to negate the big actions, the big movements from Paulo. But also, I think he's the better cardio. I don't know if Paulo's always kind of like cardio dumped before, Yeah. So I still am kind of torn just because I don't know what we have from either guy. So yeah, I'm going to go Whittaker decision, but I don't have an official bet.
Nothing on the card. I am going to take Costa TKO plus 400. That number is way too hefty for me to pass on. I don't know how I feel about that wager just in general, but I just... And Costa's the kind of guy you don't know what version of him is going to show up. I mean, you remember the Vittori fight. He was supposed to be at 85, then it wound up being like at 205 or 200. Yeah. Then they moved it like 6 different times. And then he fought like absolute dog shit, and it was tough. It's and then obviously the Israel fight where he shows up and he's basically drunk during the fight. It's like, okay, what are we doing here? You really don't know what version of what guy's going to show up. Now I know he hasn't knocked the guy out since, like you said, 2018, but he does have 11 knockouts on his record, and I think him being the bigger guy, and if Whittaker's not going to try and push the pace, like I guess he's going to try and push the pace, but maybe take him down. And it's crazy that Whittaker has a longer reach than Costa does, but yeah. I just think that at some point, I don't know if this actually does happen, if the knockout does happen, but I think Whittaker is going to get hurt bad at one point, and I don't know if he's going to be able to recover, because I just did not like the way he was taking those shots in that Dricus fight, and I think I see a lot of power similarities in Paulo Costa and Dricus du Plessis. It's a little bit different, but still, I mean, a jab, a power. They call it a power jab, but it was kind of just a step-in jab, and that fucking wobbled him bad. So I don't know. I'm gonna go Paulo Costa TKO plus 400, and now we keep it moving. Jeff Neal, Ian Gary. This one has a little bit of heat behind a tie. Ian Gary wore the T-shirt with Jeff Neal's mugshot on it, and then proceeded to act like he didn't do anything wrong and that he was a victim, even though his wife made the T-shirt. And then Sean Strickland came to the defense. Yeah, there was a lot of that going on. But Jeff Neal is a plus 190 underdog to Ian Gary's minus 230, 250. I really want to bet Jeff Neal here. I just don't trust that this is the spot to do it. I keep, the thing is that I keep, when I want to fade Ian Gary, is he is getting better. He looks better through a couple of these fights. I mean, I think his best performance was the D-Rod fight. I think he looked really good in that. The Keenan Song fight, he got rocked. So that's what kind of gives me. Knocked out. Yeah, that was bad. It kind of gives me a little bit of that could happen here. That definitely could. But I think he's going to be on his bike the whole time. And my official prediction is probably Ian Gary boring decision where he's trying to back up. But I know Jeff Neal is going to be tracking him down the whole time. And I really would like to bet Jeff Neal TKO, but I'm just going to stay away probably.
Yeah. I'm going to go Ian Gary decision. I think he apparently he was also very nice to Jeff Neal before he made the mugshot. Well, obviously you said his wife made the mugshot, so that makes sense. He's kind of just been a pawn most of his life, it seems like. He tries this cheap McGregor impression that's really just bad.
Did you see he might be too big to go back to Ireland now? That's what he said.
I did not see that.
He fears that he's going to get too big, so that he can't have a fight in Ireland. So make that make sense.
Yeah, whatever that even means, yep. I'm not sure. if that's also, I'm not sure anybody is too big to go back to Ireland. Are you kidding me? That place is amazing. However, he has a bunch of finishes on his record, but he doesn't really chase it. That's why I feel comfortable with the decision play here. I mean, this last fight against Neil Magny, that was just, I mean, he could have knocked him out with leg kicks, and he didn't. So
Yeah.
the D-Rock fight was quick. Sure, the Kenan Song fight almost went the distance. The Gabe Green and Darian Weeks fights did go the distance. Jordan Williams almost got out of the first round. He was actually having some success in that first round against Ian Gary too. So I worry when he runs into somebody who's a better striker than Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal kind of just has that left hook. That's pretty much it. I mean, he does look like he's in his best shape. He talked about how he had sepsis and heart failure and COVID during that time a couple years ago. So that's terrifying. I just, coming back from that seems a little difficult in my opinion. He has the hard hooks. He has legit KO power, but he just headhunts. Doesn't go to the body, doesn't go to the legs. He's pretty much 80% to the head in every single fight, besides his first two, which ended quickly. So sometimes 80, 85, 90% to the head. So, I mean, he does have a good head kick. We've seen him actually throw that before, the left head kick. But he also slows down a lot in fights. He's also very inconsistent. We sometimes just get different versions of him in different fights. The Neil Magny, when he fought Neil Magny, that fight was really bad. He looked like shit. And then he looked pretty good he looked amazing against Vicente Luque. And then, got dominated by Shavkat. I don't hold that against him at all. But
No.
Even the Pons fight was very, very close. He could have even lost that one. And then remember, he starched Mike Perry. So again, it's just back and forth with him. And I don't know. I can't trust him. He's getting older. I don't think he has enough here to really get it. He's really just have to land a huge shot, which I hope happens, and I think can happen. But Ian Gary keeps it on the outside. He's got clean technical striking, good distance management, good kicks. He mixes up where he kicks, kind of goes high, goes low, goes to the body.
Yep.
So at least I like that. I don't think Ian Gary's hands or aggressiveness are great. I don't know if he's championship caliber. We need to see him take a big step. If he knocks Jeff Neal out early, that's a huge step. If he just kind of unloads a barrage of shots on him, I think that would be a statement for sure. But no, I think he's gonna win by decision, and I'm gonna put that on the card.
I like that, and I think this fight, I just refuse to bet Ian Gary now. I hate him so much that I can't do it. But I do like that bet by itself. Ian Gary by decision is plus 150. So I think this fight could look a lot like the what's it called? Wonder Boy fight with Jeff Neal, where it just kind of keeps him on the outside, lands his shots, does what he needs to do, and gets the victory. You know what? I am going to bet that.
I like it.
I'm going to take Gary decision plus 150.
Yeah, he's probably just going to get outpaced.
Honestly, like
the whole fight,
now I'm viewing it as like if he does what I think he's going to do, then I win money. If not, and he gets knocked out, then I'm happy too. So that's like you said though, I could see him where he lands a shot on Neal and Neal starts doing the chicken dance, and you're like, oh my god. But I mean, really, what are the chances? Like he couldn't. The thing is, I have to. It's one of them things where I'm willing to bet and lose because I have to see it happen. I have to see him after what he just did to Neil Magny, and like having basically fighting a guy on one leg and you can't get him out of there. I need to see you get a guy out of there before I start believing in you again. So there's the future, and let's keep it moving. Merab Dvalishvili. This is a man I had the pleasure of seeing in person get submitted by Ricky Simone back in the day. Man, what a night that was. Fight. Very end of the fight. Mark Goddard comes in, says, if he's out, he's out. He can't fight. And then they call the fight. Awesome. Cash out my Ricky Simone. I believe it was like plus 700. It was something crazy. Submission. Because I was in the building just betting crazy shit. Merab Dvalishvili is fighting Henry Cejudo. All or nothing Henry Cejudo, who fired his coach on the countdown, then said it was fake, which it wasn't. And then they had that little weirdo Captain America on, Ariel's interviewing him and stuff, and he's like, well, it's real. And, those guys both fucking suck. I hate both of them. So I would love to bet Henry Cejudo in this spot, because it seems like this is the one guy, in theory, that could stop Merab's game, which is kind of just a pressure wrestling heavy sort of game where you're fighting a Olympic wrestler and a guy who should be able to keep up with you for 15 minutes all in that department, a guy who has been a double champ and all the things like that. But Ty, I just don't trust that'll be able to happen here, or that Henry Cejudo is still that guy that could do something like that. I mean, maybe 3 years ago I probably would be betting Henry Cejudo, no doubt, but Cejudo's plus 180, 175 to Dvalishvili's minus 110, or minus 210, 220, I should say. I don't know. I would love to bet Cejudo. This is either a Cejudo or no bet for me.
Yeah, this will be an interesting fight. I don't know if I don't think I have a play on it. Just because I don't know. I don't know what we have here. I mean, it seems like they're similar styles. Cejudo is probably the better wrestler, but he's really wearing down. He hasn't fought in a little bit. Last time it was against Aljo, who trains with Merab, so maybe that works in Merab's favor. They know him very well. Getting rid of his coach seems odd. I just think he's declined his output, his athleticism, and I think he's kind of just like a little bit washed up. He does have there's good leg kicks, and that's going to be huge here to try to slow down Merab and do something because I don't think Cejudo's hands are amazing. Not that Merab's are either, but Merab's been hurt a lot, multiple times, I should say, and he's just powers through it. He's so tough and also tough to just deal with. I mean, how many takedowns did he attempt in that fight? Was it 49 against Piotr Jan?
I think so. That
40. He was 11 of 49. That's crazy. That's crazy. His takedown average, what is he?
A while ago, though.
It was a little bit. Yeah, he averages 6.5 takedowns landed per 15 minutes, which is just a crazy stat. It's also number 2 on this card behind Fluffy Hernandez, which is even more crazy. He had back-to-back fights where he landed 12 takedowns against Casey Kenny and poor Gustavo Lopez. He's gotten better. His hands have gotten better. His overall game has gotten better. His cardio, his jab, his chain wrestling. He just has this cauldron of activity and movement and
unbelievable
just pace and pressure, and it's just too much to deal with. I think Cejudo, in his older age, as he's slowing down, figuratively and literally, I think it's gonna be too much. I think he's gonna tire out from all this activity, and I think Merab takes the decision. I'm not going to bet it just because I'm not really sure what's going to happen. I don't feel that confident, but that's just that's my gut. I think he's going to 29-28 him. Maybe he loses the first round or something. Maybe Henry can win a round. Maybe it's a split. But I got Merab here.
I will say I didn't like how Cejudo looked in the Aljamain fight overall, but I do acknowledge the fact that it was difficult for him to take Sterling down because Sterling is so much bigger than him and so much longer as a human being than him. So it was kind of more difficult. I mean, if I go through it, this is what the only thing that stops me from really feeling good, confident about this is that Cejudo's now 37 years old. I didn't realize that, how old he actually is getting, and taking those 3 years off was not, ideal. And he was coming off of a 3-year layoff. Excuse me, in that Sterling fight. So I don't want to sorry, excuse me. I don't want to hold that against him all that much, but you go through the different things. Would you say that Cejudo is a better wrestler than Merab?
Yeah, I think Merab also said that he's probably the better wrestler in this matchup, which is interesting, but it's just a different kind of wrestling,
Sure.
I don't understand necessarily the intricacies, but they both land takedowns at about 35%. So, they don't really care for the percent. They're just trying to get you down. If it's not first, second, third, fourth, fifth, it's going to be that 6th attempt where they get you down. And then, it's the inability of getting back up that's really is going to hurt their opponent. So it's going to be interesting to see who really wins the battle here, who can hold who against the cage, who can get who down. I just think Merab will be able to eventually because, again, I think Henry, his athleticism has been able to, he can stave off a single leg while he's hopping around on the other leg. I don't know if that's something he can really do anymore. I don't know if he can throw shots while he's getting taken down. But I do think he can make this close and interesting. I think he can definitely take a round or two. I'm just, I guess just wait and see mode, really.
Yeah, no, and that's a fair assessment. Would you say that Cejudo's a better striker?
Um,
I would.
yeah, probably right. I think he's
Not by a
got better,
crazy amount, but I
quicker
think
hands.
yeah.
But yeah. So it's just the
The
innate
cardio.
ability
I think the
of
cardio is what
Merab.
like that
Yeah, he's
tenacity
just
and
relentless.
yeah, really.
Kind of like Fluffy in a way. I don't. Fluffy Hernandez, does he have the best striking ever? No, it's improving. Is he physically? He's never looked. He's not jacked out of his mind for a middleweight. But what does Fluffy Hernandez do? He's got that unrelentless cardio and just dynamic ability to take you where he wants to take you. And once he gets you there, it's tough, man. He like Piotr Jan, man. He couldn't even get any opportunity to reset and keep the fight at striking range.
No.
Let alone extended striking exchanges. So. I'm not sure what Cejudo is going to do here. I don't know. I'm actually very unsure.
It's the ultimate conversation that I always used to have about Khabib, which they're not the same. I'm not saying that, but I just think in the sense that in order to beat a guy like Merab or Khabib who are putting constant pressure on you and you're backing up, you have to back them up somehow, some way. You have to put pressure on them. You have to be the aggressor because they will not know what to do if you are pushing them back. So I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. You can't be getting pushed up against the fence the entire time, and that's what those guys do. Those chain wrestlers who will do everything they can to get you to the ground. They're just going to push you up against the fence, work for the takedown constantly. So that is that you have to do something about that to back them up, and maybe I don't know if it's hurt them or what it is. I another thing I can't get out of my head is Marlon Moraes having Merab going crazy all over the place. I mean, he was How many times did he knock him down during that fight? That was insane. Where he just kept
nervous.
He just kept falling down. That was
like,
wild.
I need him in my parlay. I was like, there's no way this guy survives the next minute, and he couldn't even stand.
No.
I was like, yeah, this is long over, but we made it.
How about I'm going to go Henry Cejudo money line plus 190.
Damn. Triple C.
I just, I don't know.
He's also looking at retirement, just letting you know.
I know. That's always a negative for me. I just think this is a good matchup for him. I really do. I think if anybody's going to beat Merab, the way I'm looking at it is if anybody's going to beat Merab, it's Henry Cejudo. Really. Because I don't know who else at 35 beats him. And
Sugar Sean.
Sugar, I don't know. That's going to be... is he going to be able to... He's not going to be able to keep him off of him. I really...
Flying knee knockout.
That's the thing. He's going to have to hurt him on the way in, and it's going to have to get really ugly in there. And Merab is hilarious, though. Have you seen some of the shit he's been putting on Twitter, the videos and stuff?
Yeah, I kind of like it. What was the one? I forget. Fuck. I was just talking about it with either you or somebody else. I thought I brought up something that he tweeted. I could be wrong.
You saw the one video of him, like, how these people think I'm training, how these people think I'm training, and it's like all the different people, like how people in Georgia think I'm training, and he's like out in the snow, like hitting pads and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, here's the one where he's always watching how Cejudo trains.
Yeah.
And he's like doing some weird shit with Figgy. He's like grabbing him and smacking him and touching him.
yeah.
All right. Yeah, I know.
All right.
But also Merab and Ilia, two Georgians looking to get some W's for the country, for their homeland.
Yeah, I'm fading both of them. I don't feel good about either one. I don't feel good about any of my bets. There's not one bet that I'm like, wow. my Gold Star bet's coming up, but we're not there yet. How about your boy, Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, getting in there against Roman Kopylov? Roman Kopylov is a plus 200 underdog to Fluffy's minus 245, 250. So, Fluffy is a considerable favorite here in this fight. These guys are basically the same size, close to the same age. Kopylov's a little bit older. Kopylov would probably have the striking advantage, probably, right? I mean, I think it's probably close, but I think Fluffy's definitely going to have the grappling advantage for sure. He's coming off of that win against Edmund Shabazian where he was bouncing his head off the canvas. at the end of that fight.
He fucking smoked him.
Yeah, I still am a little mad at Fluffy for not finishing that Josh Frem fight, but what are you gonna do?
That was bad. Yeah, that was brutal.
What are you gonna do? You can't win them all, but
Josh Frem's a big fucking.
he really is the big yins, dude. The big yins is no joke. Kopylov has 11 KOs on his record, and Kopylov did just get the big yins out of there for the record.
He
did. That was in what?
Or in the liver.
In September, I think. Yeah, the Grasso Shevchenko too. Okay, that's right. I was at Dave & Buster's that night. That's for the a little inside baseball for the people out there.
Hell yeah, Dave & Buster's fun.
They love D&B's, dude. It's like a kid casino. So, and I'm still a kid at heart. How about Roman Kopylov? I think you're gonna bet Fluffy Hernandez here. I think that's just you're not gonna be able to turn your back on Fluffy like that. But do you think do you give Kopylov a chance here?
It depends. I mean, if it stays standing for extended periods of time, probably. I think we've seen Fluffy get hurt multiple times. I mean, Jun Young Park was piecing him up in the first round with the hands. Kevin Holland only took one clinch knee to shut Fluffy Hernandez down. The Barrios fight was on the feet anyway. Striking wise was close-ish. Evan Shabazian did decent work, but honestly, I think Fluffy's improved his stand-up a little bit each fight. I think he used to kind of just be a guy who would blitz forward, blitz towards you. He wants you to back up against the cage, and then he works to try to wrestle you, take you down. He has different kind of entries. Sometimes he doesn't. He has 57% takedown accuracy, and that just means he's chaining them together. He's getting 6.79 takedowns per 15, a little bit more than Merab, which is crazy, especially at middleweight. Having that pace, having that output wrestling-wise at middleweight. He has a positive striking ratio, so at least there's that. I think his jab and his straight right have gotten a lot better. He was doing some work against Edmond and Marc-Andre Barrios with that. But it's just his ability to get the fight to the ground and his different kinds of front chokes. I went back and watched a bunch of them. I mean, the arm triangle he got on Marc-Andre Barrios was nasty. He put him to sleep. Adolfo Vieira made Adolfo Vieira tap. I still can't believe he made him tap. I believe he put Jung Young Park out. I think actually Jung Young Park might have tapped, but he might have been one out cold. Yeah, he's just relentless with these. He's a very different fighter than he was against Marcus Maluco Perez, where he got anaconda himself. He's come a long way. He's 30, right? I believe he's 30. And physically, he was called fluffy because he had that kind of had a little belly to him, or just didn't really have many abs. And he's looking a little different physically now. He's kind of getting into better shape. I think his cardio is going to be huge here. Roman Kopylov, I do like what he's been doing. He has 3 straight second-round knockouts, 4 straight knockouts. But, Di Herico, Punahele, Soriano, Ribeiro, and that fight was pretty close up until that kick. And then Josh Fremd. Low level of opponents. I mean, his takedown defense, 92%. But who has he fought that wrestles besides Carl Roberson, who, by the way, put him out. Yeah. Choked him out badly. Duraev, who wasn't even a wrestler. He's one of the non-wrestling Russians, and he took him down. He almost had him in a rear naked choke, I believe. So while I do, see that he's only been taken down twice, he's only really been, seriously attempted to be taken down a couple times, I think. I think Fluffy gets his fight to the ground quick, easily, and I think he chokes him out, subs him quick, easily. I guess I could see Fluffy does love those elbows. He does love throwing elbows on the ground, but man, he is really just trying to set up any kind of situation where you give him your neck, and he's taking it. I don't really have much else to say in this fight. I do like Kopylov's power in his leg kicks and his hands, but Fluffy has been hurt to the body just multiple times in general. So that's something to notice. But also, Roman Kopylov's cardio isn't great. He has his hands down, has his hands on his hips a lot. I think Fluffy ragdolls him and dominates him on the ground. Second round sub.
So you're putting sub on the card.
Yep.
Sub plus 200 for Fluffy Hernandez. I
think
am
that's a good number.
Not going to take that. I am a coward, but I am going to take Fluffy Hernandez inside the distance plus 105. I just that elbow, the situation that you just said, kind of scared me off, and I could see a situation where he just kind of like Kopylov kind of just shells up and is just taking shots from behind, and it's just can't do anything about it. So I don't know. If that submission was anything above like 250, like into the 300, I would be taking that no problem. But The plus 100 difference is not enough for me to really be all that worried about. So I'll take the thing that I feel more confident in, inside the distance, plus 105. And that's the main card, ladies and gentlemen. We now move on to the prelims section of this card. We now have Amanda Lemos. She's getting in there against Mackenzie Dern, who just revealed that she has a boyfriend. And I know a lot of people out there are probably all upset. Guys who had no chance at,
That's me.
Yep. And we'll see if her accent comes back. She is now dating a Brazilian gentleman. So we shall see. Mackenzie Dern is coming off of her getting eliminated by Jessica Andrade in November on the Prochazka Pajeda card. That's like, the biggest lock of all time that was going to happen. But Amanda Lemos, Amandinha, she is coming off of a loss to Zhang Wei Li in a title fight the night of the Sterling O'Malley card. So I guess, Ty, I'll just leave this off because this one's easy for me. This might be my first double whammy of the year, and I'll feel pretty good about it. I will double whammy this one. I am going to go Amanda Lemos money line at minus 130, and I am also going to go Amanda Lemos inside the distance plus 150 because her TKO is plus 200. 150 is not that far off. I'll take them both inside the distance and money line. I think she knocks her out, but
you think there's a chance she gets a sub?
I doubt it, but I think it could be like a thing where she's hurt and she doesn't really know what's going on, and then she gets a choke cinched in real quick, and then it's like that. That's the stuff that just infuriates me. Where I'm like, because like you just said, like you don't think it could happen, but I just don't think that the more important thing to me is the numbers aren't all that different, so that it wouldn't. It's only plus 50 difference for the TKO and the inside the distance. I kind of would just basically paying for insurance there. So I'll take the plus 150.
Yeah. Yeah. She probably. I can't believe she got knocked down 4 times in that fight against Andrade. Yeah. Dern's been working on her wrestling. Her takedown accuracy, 14% is something. She doesn't have Jason Perillo in her corner anymore. I do see that they're still training together apparently, so that's good, I guess. Her new trainer is now her new boyfriend, Antonio Tricoli, who won a Contender Series fight, and then he pissed nuclear hot. So he didn't end up making his debut. He was actually supposed to fight against OSP at 282. He was one of the 15 OSP opponents who had to pull out. He had quote unquote visa issues, and then he got released.
Vince, BBL, St. Peru.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So her new boyfriend has had some issues, I guess. She's coming off a KO loss against another hard hitter here. Lemos has some serious power. Dern doesn't also check leg kicks at all. I think Amanda Lemos has just a huge advantage on the feet here. She is coming off a title shot where she got absolutely beat from pillar to post against Wei Li, but that's a much different animal here. I will say Lemos' cardio has never really been good past 1.5 rounds. She has these big moments, but usually her volume's low. She has offensive grappling success, but sometimes has holes in the defensive grappling. Remember Andrade arm triangled her standing up. That's something you never see. So also remember she made her debut. Leslie Smith absolutely smoked her against the cage with elbows. So very hot and cold fighter. I think she's kind of been the beneficiary of some, low level strength of schedule, I guess. Miranda Granger, Mizuki Inoue, Lavinia Sosa, Montserrat Conejo. Remember that? That was one of my biggest bets ever. I was like, yeah, she's going to kill this chick. And then Angela Hill, that was a close fight. The Michelle Waterson fight was close-ish until the sub. The Marina fight was close until she knocked her out. So I don't know, man. I'm not too sold on Amanda Lemos. She is getting older. She's 36. She's going to be 37 soon. I think Mackenzie's probably in her prime, but I don't even know what that even is. Maybe she's not in her prime. I don't know. I don't know how to gauge any of her fights. Really, I've never really been able to. The only one I would say is Nina Nunes. That's the only fight I've been able to really nail down. I think Brandon Marcos too, but those are low level opponents, and she hasn't got a sub since Nina Nunes in 2021. So almost 3 years. I don't know if she can sub Lemos. Lemos was taken down at will against Whaley. If Mackenzie can just get her down once, just one time, it's over probably, right? You think? But
I don't know. I don't. She was threatening them submissions from the bottom that whole time. In that Wei fight, I mean, there was a couple. I don't know what she almost had in at one point. Maybe it was like not a rear naked, but maybe a guillotine. I don't know. I just feel I have confidence that Amanda Lemos's defensive grappling is going to be enough to keep this fight where she needs it to be, and she'll, at the very least, win the decision. Because I have no faith in Mackenzie Dern's MMA game at all.
yeah, I have no pick here. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Honestly, I could see multiple things happen. I'm going to stay away, but I do think Lemos gets the win. That would be my safe pick.
Yeah, I think it's a safe pick. And now we move on to Mr. Clean getting in there, Marcos Rogerio de Lima. I say that because he is so bald, doesn't even have a stubble of hair on his head. Again, on his Tapology picture at least. He's fighting Justin Tafa, who's 7-3. Seems like I've seen this man fight 15 times, but he only has,
Could be Junior.
It could be Junior as well, but he has 8 fights in the UFC. 8. 7, 3, and 0-1, because one of them was a no contest, which was the Austin Lane poking his eye out of his head. That was nasty.
That was crazy.
And then he comes back and just eliminates Austin Lane. I think I had Austin Lane in the first fight, and I think I might have taken him in the second one. Oh, I did. Believe me, I remember being very upset. But again, this is a Justin Tafa who was eliminated by Jorgen De Castro,
I just watched that fight too.
Yeah, who lost to Jared Vander, who also lost to Carlos. That's right, Carlos Felipe. That was bad. That one was really very bad. Who just lost in ACA? That's right, to Salim Griev Ruslov. So Carlos Felipe is continuing his career. Yeah. So that's still going on. Rogerio de Lima is coming off of getting his skull caved in by a Derek Lewis flying knee and having his teeth rattled out of his head. So Ty, really don't know what to bet here. I mean, Tafa is a plus 115, 120 underdog to Rogerio de Lima's minus 140, 145. I would love to bet de Lima here, but this seems like the perfect situation for Tafa to just crack a guy who's huge and watch him fall.
Yeah, that could happen. I guess it's one of them's going to go out, right? So hopefully I'm on the right side of the history books here. I'm going to go Rogerio de Lima inside the distance.
Wow.
TKO or sub. I'm not sure which one, but remember he choked out Arlovsky, knocked out Rothwell. So he's had some good moments for sure. He's not the best heavyweight all around. There's definitely parts of his game I don't love. He swings and hits hard, but he's not the best striker. He definitely has great leg kicks. Remember he fought Waldo Cortez Acosta. He was eating him up with those leg kicks. I'm not sure if he does that here, just in case he gets countered on the leg kicks. That's definitely something to watch out for. I think from last July to now, I think it's a decent amount of time off. I don't know if it's enough or too much or too little. I have no idea, but I feel like it's a good amount. We'll be interested to see if he tries to wrestle another hard-hitting striker here. He's been matched up with a couple. If he does, I feel like he should have easy success. Justin Tafa hasn't really fought anybody who wrestles or who will look to wrestle, right? Yeah, his takedown defense is 100%. But, the only times anybody's attempted a takedown, Harry Hunsucker and Carlos Felipe, both 0 for 1. There's not really any wrestlers that he's fought. De Lima can have easy. He wanted to wrestle Derek Lewis. He just got caught with that flying knee. Yeah. Kind of like Ben Askren.
Shout out.
It is weird that Tafa was 3-0 when he fought Jorgen De Castro, and he got slept bad.
So bad.
So bad. I mean, he was doing pretty well, and then just got absolutely slept. Jorgen De Castro is not UFC level.
No.
We knew that. No. Tafa does have a pretty good boxing background. His grandfather was a champion at light heavyweight. I think one of his uncles fought Mark Hunt in K1. So, it does have that long lineage of just striking, really boxing, kickboxing. And, more ways to win for De Lima. I hope this doesn't go 15 minutes for everybody's sake. How many times has Tafa went the distance? Twice, and he lost decisions both times the guys that he should not lose to. I mean, Jared Vander almost doubling him up in strikes is brutal. So, negative striking ratio. I guess Algerio de Lima's is much better than that, at least. Yeah, I'm going to go Algerio de Lima pays out inside the distance. I feel like he should be able to just, not get hit with a big left hook a couple minutes in, and then he should be fine.
I'm going to do it. And I don't care what the people say out there. I don't care what anyone says. I'm going Marcos Rogerio de Lima by submission plus 600. That number is just too high for me to pass it along. I've taken too many safe bets here. All these inside the distances. I want to take a wild card, and I'm taking de Lima by submission plus 600.
I like it.
That's a big number, Ty.
Yeah, and he's again, what kind of grappling wrestling success or successful defense has Tafa ever encountered? Probably literally none. Meanwhile, Algerio de Lima has had some. He's been submitted 5 times, but that's in my opinion that's fine because and again the one Romanov forearm choke was pretty bad. Getting forearm choked is not a good look. Stefan Struve arm triangled him, but that's a 7-footer. He got OSP'd. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that. Antigulov used to submit guys a lot. Nikita Krylov, he's a submission artist. You know what I mean? Like he's faced a lot of submission artists. Even back on the Ultimate Fighter when he fought Shoeface, he got rear naked choke. Shoeface is a jiu-jitsu legend, so I don't really hold that against him. I just think that he's at ATT. He's had a lot of work, a lot of practice, a lot of just experience with the grappling wrestling. I like that a lot. Honestly, I would take it. I just think maybe Tafa like flops around to his back and kind of gets Ty Tuivasa where he doesn't know what he's doing down there, and instead of the obvious sub, he just turtles up and covers up and gets ground and pounded. But I do love the plus 600.
That's
awesome.
A big number. But I could easily see that's why I know it's definitely a risk to not take the inside the distance. But I just. Because, I'm also sitting here thinking, why would I take inside the distance when it's also possible that de Lima's head could get knocked off of his shoulders by Tafa, and I'll just be like, wow. It won't really matter then either way what I took. So
Tafa missed weight one time. It's definitely notable for that because heavyweight, it's really hard to miss weight at heavyweight. But
yep, you only have a 50-pound allowance pretty much, a 60-pound allowance. So somewhere in between that area, you should be able to be good to go. How about Japanese Connor, Rinya Nakamura, getting in there against former Connor student, Pequeño, Carlos Vera, who was on The Ultimate Fighter at the age of 35, which was pretty wild. And then he got cooked by Brad Katona. We needed a third round in that one. That's according to Connor. But then he was supposed to fight Daniel Marcos. Then he was going to fight in CFFC in Atlantic City in December, and that got canceled. And then he gets the call up here for February against Rinya Nakamura. I don't know if I would have picked the phone up for this one. He is a plus 700 underdog, I believe is what I saw. 775, 750 to Rinya Nakamura's minus 1,200, 1,400. So we're really not even close. It's kind of a conversation of how do we make money here? What should we bet? Nakamura TKO is plus 125. His submission is plus 275. Inside the distance is minus 175. Ty, what do we like here? Is there anything that is a first round bet something that we could possibly get involved in, or is that a little too ambitious?
Vera's been subbed twice. He hasn't been knocked out. I think that could obviously change here. He wasn't knocked out by Katona on the Ultimate Fighter. But he's been submitted by, has it been low level opponents? Yeah, it looks like low level guys anyway. So I don't know. I feel like this is probably unbettable just because I don't know what Nakamura is going to do. He's obviously got that wrestling background. He's probably the best road to the UFC guy that there is. I think.
Yeah.
Good southpaw striking, good power, good speed. Swings a little wild, overextends a little bit, but just has some recent 3-round experience, so that's good. And he seems to be smart. He's very green, but very smart. Very high IQ in the way he grabs your ankle or grabs this. Like when he fought Fernie, and he was struggling a little bit, he was still managing a way to advance position, get him down, and stuff like that. So I I mean, Vera trains with Ryan Hall, so that's good, right? Yeah, that's really all I got for Vera. I think Nakamura finishes him. Yeah, I think he probably knocks him out, maybe, and then ground and pound if that's a thing. But he might just knock him out clean. I'm not too sure. I mean, Ryan, this guy's 36 years old. I'm going the hybrid by knockout. No bet though.
I'm gonna take Rinya Nakamura around 1 or 2 minus 140 here on the card.
All right.
I don't know what really. I would like to take something that's more profitable. Probably the submission is in the plus 300 range. That's something that I would really like to bet. But again, we don't know enough about Nakamura, and I didn't like how he really wasn't able to get that. I mean, I think he should get the finish here because this is more of an anti-Carlos Vera bet, if anything. I just didn't like how he wasn't really able to get that finish against Fernie Garcia the way he probably should have. So we will keep it moving, ladies and gentlemen. We are almost towards the end here. There's a lot of fights. What was there, 12 fights? We spent a lot of time on those main card fights, but they deserved it, to be honest. How about Ming Yang Zhang? Wow. That is a large Chinese gentleman, man.
Mountain Tiger.
It's very rare that you get the Chinese fighters at the upper, 205 and up weight classes.
Yeah.
Truly. He's from the road to the UFC, I guess. He knocked George Tokos out.
Tuco Tokos.
Tuco Tokos. Wow. All right. So where's he from? He's from from London.
London. Yeah.
From London. His head coach is Henry Hooft. He what was that? 2022 though. It's a little question.
Been a while.
He was supposed to fight Tyson Pedro. That got canceled. He was supposed to fight Ribeiro. That got canceled, and then he's fighting Ribeiro this weekend. That's right. Fighting Brenson Ribeiro, who I am trying to remember the last time that I saw him fight Bruno Lopez on the Contender Series. Okay. That was...
It was the same card as Sergey City, Gene Silva, our boy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This guy's pretty good. I like Ribeiro's game, but I don't know if I'm going to bet anything here with just the unknown of both.
Well, you should definitely take the under.
Okay. Oh, God, somebody's going to get eliminated.
Yeah, Zhang has been finished 5 times, has 0 decision wins. Ribeiro has been finished 4 times, 0 decision wins. If you take a little glance at Ming Yang Zhang, if you take a look at his record, there he is, Askar Mosarov, 1 punch knocked out Ming Yang Zhang a while back. That's your boy. That's our boy, Mr. Askar Mosarov. Apparently, he was 13-10 at the time. I believe he was 25-8, 25-6. Now he's 17-14. So I'm glad we got that. I'm glad we got that cleaned up. There's a whole video on YouTube about the career of Askar Mosarov. It's pretty good. It's just kind of funny how this even happened. But he smoked Mr. Zhang a while ago. He was he was 19 or 20. So it's a while. No. It was a long time ago.
I changed my mind. I'm betting Brenson Ribeiro. This guy. I just looked at this guy's whole record and
his whole catalog.
It's just not. I mean, we're talking about a couple years ago. He was fighting guys who were 6-9, 1-3. That's you can't be in the UFC, and then you're fighting a guy this guy is not exactly. I mean, he's the favorite. This Zhang guy is the favorite here. So maybe
listen, if you have an extensive history in Wu Lin Feng, which is WLF MMA. The odds are you fought nobody good. That's just. I mean, dude, he got choked out by a 0-0 fellow when he was 7-5. Mosarov, he got 1 punch knocked out by. I know that, again, this was a while ago, but on this heater of a winning streak he's on, who is he really beating besides Tuco Tokos, who's not good at all, really? I will say both guys in their last fight, Zhang against Tokos, he was a big underdog, and Ribeiro when he was on the Contender Series against Bruno Lopez was a big underdog. How funny is that? They've both been knocked out a bunch, no decision wins. Both were big underdogs in their last fight. I don't think anybody really knows what's going to happen here, but no. I got a double whammy.
Wow!
I got to make up for last time. I got to do it. So I'm going to go under here. I'm going to go under. Is 1.5 a thing? I'm going to go under. Under a half a round at plus 175. It's a little much. I know it's a little much. I'm going to see if either of them how often they've hit that. Hopefully they have hit that. Yeah, it seems like it seems like we kind of got some.
Gust of wind's gonna come through, and they're both gonna hit the ground. They're gonna have to do a WWE 10 count to get them up.
But Mark Goddard's gonna be like, if you can't fight, you can't continue. Should I not? I feel like under a half a round's a little. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Fuck it. I'm gonna do under a half a round, and I'm gonna do Brenton Ribeiro inside the distance. Let's do it.
Inside the distance is plus 120. We are both on that, and we keep it moving, ladies and gentlemen, to Josh Quinlan, Danny Barlow, left hand to God. That's your boy's nickname?
Yep.
So he's coming off of a Contender Series knockout of Raheem Forrest. He is what? 4 knockouts on his record. He's 7-0. This is a fight of guys who are very newish in the game. Mr. Josh Quinlan's coming off of a loss to Trey Waters. Trey Waters, that is, who I don't even remember this fight at all. Where was I this night? What?
You must have been sleeping that night.
I must have been. Was it Song? Yeah, Song. I don't remember the Song Yadong and Ricky Simone fight. I don't even know if we did a pod about this whole pod. I think we were like out of the game at this point.
Yeah. No, we did because that was when Russian Ronda knee barred Stephanie Egger.
Right. Okay. Oh, yeah, and Marcos Ruggiero fought Waldo Cortez Acosta.
McGee beat up Journey Newsom. Yeah, come on, you remember.
Well, I mean, we do so many of them. It's hard to keep track of all these guys.
The Trey Waters and Josh Quinlan fight. Also, Josh Quinlan's pissed nuclear hot multiple times where he beat Logan Urban on the Contender Series, and that got turned to a no contest. And then he couldn't fight Jason Witt because he kept pissing hot, so he fought him a week later, and then he did what you thought he would do to Jason Witt. A wind of gust. A gust of wind. A wind of gust. Maybe both knocked Jason Witt to the land of ghosts, wind, and wits. So,
and Eddie Winelands.
And Eddie Winelands.
we got
the patron saint of the land of wind and ghosts. Yeah, I kind of like Danny Barlow here. I went into this being like, whoever's the underdog, I'm taking them because they're both inexperienced. They might both not be good. Who knows? Neither's been really tested. But I think, they both have power. Quinlan overextends a lot. He can probably mix in the grappling a little bit. He has a black belt. I'm sure he would have the success there, but he doesn't really use it that much. He had trouble with a long-rangey guy in Trey Waters. Barlow has a longer reach than Trey Waters, fun fact. And Danny Barlow is very athletic, tall, rangy. He's kind of like a left-hander bust, but he mixes in some kicks, throws them hard. He throws very well. He throws everything very, very hard, very precise, very quick. His grappling game is just not advanced. I think he fought this guy, Dustin DePuma. He went the distance with him, and I think he almost got choked out and mounted in the first round. So it's been a couple years. Maybe his jiu-jitsu is advanced a little bit. I just don't know if Quinlan's even going to look for that. He probably should.
Does have a Kimura on the record.
He does have one of those. I'm gonna go Barlow by TKO. I think he's going to hit him with the left hand of God. I mean, he's a cult hero, dude. We got to take it. When it's there, we got to take it. So give me Danny Barlow, left hand to my bank account.
What did you take? You taking it on the card, TKO?
Barlow knockout, yeah.
All right, I'll take it too. Why not?
All right.
I don't even need to know other than the fact that Mr. Quinlan lost to Trey Waters. That's all I need to know.
Yeah, easily, too.
No offense to Trey Waters, of course. God forbid. But Barlow, TKO, plus 160. And I looked at Barlow's record. He's got a lot of first-round knockouts. May not be against the highest level of competition, but
he's coming hot.
Oh, yeah.
He's also been heel hooked before as an amateur for whatever that
Quinlan's means. Pissing hot. That's, you got to mark that down for the record. How about this? This is the fight that people will be huddled in the masses around the television when this starts. Val Woodburn. That's Val, the Animal Woodburn, coming off of his, let's just say, less than stellar performance against Bo Nickel. But the odds were stacked against him. Val Woodburn's getting in there against Obon Elliott. I don't know anything
The Welsh gangster.
The Welsh gangster. He's got a flag tied around his neck here. He's 26 years old. He's been knocked out twice, so those are his 2 losses. So that is something worth. He did lose to Michael Figlock. Remember him?
Yeah,
Mad
so
Dog.
he fought Figlock, and then after that he had to take some time off.
Sure hope so.
He had a heart problem.
Well, that's not good.
It's not good. But he's back.
But he got knocked out, so he's back, and then he came back and got knocked out again by
yeah, he did.
another gentleman. So at least the
Mr.
thing is, I
Fleming,
like about the
Latvian
guys,
Express.
the guys from Cage Warriors. At least I feel like they have these guys that they're fighting have a little bit. I have a little bit more faith in the guy that Zong was fighting in the whatever.
Askar Mosarov.
Yeah, exactly. So
Your boy.
I might bet Val Woodburn here just out of respect. Really, this is an ultimate respect bet. But really, what is there to bet here, Ty? This is Elliott's minus 320 to Woodburn's plus 250. I'm staying away from this.
Maybe Elliott sub. I mean, he's won 4 straight fights by decision, but before that he got a rear naked choke on his record. He has a couple rear naked chokes, Kimura as well. Val Woodburn, I don't imagine has any kind of ground game. Has a bunch of knockouts, but they were early in his career. His last 2 fights against people who are like real went the distance. He's just not good, in my opinion. I mean, I don't think he's dropping back down to 170, which I think is his natural weight. I mean, he's like 5'8". I don't know he has good power, but I think that's it. Elliott striking defense not good, not great. So there's that, but he has good cardio. He's primarily a wrestler, but he doesn't hold guys down that well. I think he kind of wants to get the fight extended, and that's where he kind of gets guys into deep trouble as the dogs go crazy. Is it underdog? Is this
wow
underdog spot? I don't know, dude. Oh man,
the dog just let you know, brother.
He's like, yo, bet on Val Woodburn to put Mr. Welsh Gangster to sleep. Unfortunately, I can't do that.
Yeah, I can't listen to the dogs here.
But they are barking, so I guess maybe the next fight is where I'm going to look to my dog to bark. But this fight, I do not. I mean, it was a good win over Kaik Brito for Oban Elliott, but I think he's just probably better than Val Woodburn. I just don't know if there's anything here to bet. I mean, I would be interested to see if Elliott's sub bet prop was
plus 270.
Yeah, man, not bad. But again, too much
trust
that I
these
don't
guys.
know about.
Yeah,
too much unknown. So yeah, I'm gonna skip this. But I do think he wins by sub.
I liked Woodburn TKO here, but I'm not going to take it. So just want people to know that when either one happens, that I liked both of them. So how about that? How about Andrea Lee plus 165 here to Miranda Mavericks minus 185, minus 200. Ty, Miranda Maverick, I've been the biggest fan of in the past, and I'm not. I mean, I don't want to say not anymore, but like she's let me down a few times. But I guess it's not to the worst competition in the world, the Aaron Blanchfields, the Macy Barbers, Jasmine, GSP, Joe's the Vicious. I don't know. I don't know if I can really trust her to take care of business for me against Andrea Lee, because Andrea Lee, she's the ultimate, she is coming 3 losses in a row. But It seems like when you doubt her the most, she comes out and takes care of business, and arm triangles. Wow, triangle armbar against Antonina Shevchenko. These are some bad wins though. Now that you really look at it, I mean, her losses again are
she likes those 3-fight losing streaks. That's for sure.
And this is the time to break that losing streak. Would Miranda Maverick finish this fight? You think? I don't think so.
No, I mean, dude, has Miranda Maverick, did she finish her breakfast this morning? Like, I don't know. I don't think that's... Now, she is coming off of an armbar. I'll give her that, but she couldn't finish Shanna Young, Jillian Robertson.
What do you need to say?
Yeah, Pearl Gonzalez. I mean, again, Priscilla Cachoeira is pretty bad, too, so at least she was able to get the armbar in the 3rd round.
Animal.
Yeah. The thing is, Miranda Maverick out-grapples like these bottom-of-the-barrel grapplers, but, when she fights these pressure fighters, she does this thing where she, resets after every exchange, Miranda Maverick does. And when she fights pressure fighters, it doesn't work. Like, they come forward and expose her, like Jasmine and Blanchfield and Barber. They're pressure opponents. I just don't know if Andrea Lee is still there. I think she's kind of wearing down. She's kind of getting older. She's kind of slowing down all around. The Natalia Silva fight, there's nothing wrong with that. The Macy Barber fight was really close, honestly. I thought she took her down a couple times. She was able to crack Viviane Araujo in that first round, almost finished her in that first round, and then kind of just gassed after that. I just think she's better than Miranda Maverick here. I think she's better all around, especially on the feet. If Maverick can't get it down, I think maybe Andrea Lee could have some wrestling success. She has better takedown offense and defensive numbers than Miranda Maverick, for what it's worth. Miranda Maverick, low output on the feet, keeps her hands down. I think Andrea Lee's clearly a better striker. Good jab, good front kick. She has a nice, strong body lock, takedown, judo throw mix. She's probably the bigger, stronger, longer opponent fighter here. I got Andrea Lee money line. I'm going to go. The dogs are barking. I'm going to go Andrea Lee money line. I think she breaks the schneid here and gets a W.
Lee money line plus 165. I am going to sit this one out because I think I have enough plays, but I'd love to bet Andrea Lee money line. I really would.
Well, you do it. Do it now.
I'll do it in my private life more than likely. I got to keep it off the card. I already have a double whammy on here. And I bet Barlow TKO, which I didn't know anything about before. And I also have Lima sub. That seems like I could be just wasting money. So that's not. I think it's going to hit. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is UFC 298 from, where are we this weekend? Are we in the Vegas?
I think we're in Anaheim.
Oh, we're in Anaheim?
Yeah.
There you go. So we are in Anaheim, California. The Shanimal will not be there, unfortunately. We are at the Honda Center. DC will probably have some sort of flashback or PTSD moment of him getting KO'd there. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's UFC 298. We are looking forward to it. I can't wait. I am so excited. I hope you guys enjoy watching the fights and get all your bets in and, just fade us or bet with us. Either way, have a great time and enjoy the fights. Any boxing that we have to talk about before we get out of here?
We do have a Shockey Foster fighting tomorrow night. That's my boy at 130. I think he's probably going to move up to 135 after that. His nickname is Icewater.
Okay.
He had a big win in his last fight against Eduardo Hernandez, who was really game and almost upset him. They went to the 12th round, and Shockey got a 12th round knockout. One of the best fights of 2023, honestly. He's fighting Abraham Nova. I think they were supposed to fight before. There's a lot of trash talk here. Abraham Nova is the Cuban gentleman who has like a big blonde beard. He kind of looks kind of funny. Has a big lisp as well. He lost. He got knocked out by Robesi Ramirez a couple years ago. I think that was his only defeat. Yeah, he's come off a win against Jonathan Romero, which I do not remember that fight at all. However, both fighters, I believe, are 30. It's going to be a good fight. It's going to be in New York City. It's on ESPN Plus tomorrow night if you're not doing anything. Nice. Bruce Shushu Carrington, I'm sure you've heard me talk about him a couple times before. He is a Brooklyn prospect, 10-0. I think he's 26 years old. He's fighting Bernard Torres. Big step up here, so he can put his name on the map. Xander Zayas was supposed to be on this card. He's a big-time Puerto Rican prospect, 21 years old. He's fighting out of Sunrise, Florida. He was supposed to be on this. This would have been nice for him to fight Pat Teixeira, but I think one of them had to pull out. So I think other than that, I mean, there's Joseph Diaz fighting Jesus Perez. That's going to be, I think that's tonight, actually. So we'll see if the Thursday night fights can continue to disappoint. Remember the last Thursday was Teo, and a couple months ago was Shakur Stevenson. So Thursday nights might be cursed. I'm not sure. Other than that, I think that might be it for a little bit. I don't think there's really much going on in February. But Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia got made. They're 3-3 against each other in amateurs. That's pretty compelling. That'll be on April 20th, April 29th, April 19th, 20th. One of the two. I think it could be. Yeah. And then a week later is Josh Taylor, Jack Catterall 2. That just got booked for April 27th in Leeds. It's been a couple years. I mean, the auto rematch is what everybody wanted, and they're like, nah, we're going to wait a couple years in typical boxing form. So that whole month, April, May, June should be exciting. There's going to be a lot of boxing, a lot of big matches in that time frame. But I'm really looking forward to Haney and Garcia, man. I think Haney's going to beat him easily. I see a lot of people on Ryan Garcia. I'm not so sure about that one.
I'll never be on that guy again.
Yeah, I mean, there's a video of him chasing that girl Bobby Altoff around some penthouse suite, as he's trying to spar and show her how to hold the gloves, and then he's chasing her. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What kind of alternate universe are we in? So Devin Haney needs this one. He needs to take some of Ryan Garcia's fans, and kind of like how Floyd did when he fought Arturo Gatti, when he fought Oscar De La Hoya, two huge fan favorites.
Yeah.
And Devin Haney is not like Floyd. I mean, Floyd wasn't the biggest fan favorite either at one point. Devin Haney definitely not the biggest fan favorite. I mean, these guys tried this trash talking thing. Did you see that? And they kind of got physical. It was so bad. It was just so bad. I mean, Ryan Garcia did mention that Devin Haney is getting pimped out by his dad. That was kind of funny. And Bill Haney did not like that one. He did not like that at all. But
No.
Overall, neither fighter. It's very cringe when they try to talk shit. But Devin Haney is legit. I think Ryan Garcia is not. I mean, he's got speed and power. Other than that, his jab's a joke. His head movement is a joke. His just striking defense and chin is not good. So I got Devin Haney in that one pretty easily. But it should be a good match. Again, this is Game 7 for them, which is you never see that in boxing. So. That'll be something to watch when they fight on April 19th, April 20th. It might be on 420, so there is that one.
Choke up. Yeah, David Diamante will be in Oaxaca, Mexico, Mexico.
Let's go.
Weekend, so
I'm excited. I'm going to be tuning in somehow.
there you go. Somehow, some way, we will get it on the television, and somehow, some way, you will enjoy the fights this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matt McSweeney. This is the Shoulder Strikes MMA podcast. His name is
Ty Capone, as always. And remember, keep your hands up, unlike Miranda Maverick, and stay out of the DMs.